Hey guys, I know I showed this off a while back already, but this was built fairly early on in my experience in the hobby, and after I built it, there was always, especially as I became more involved with the actual physical integration aspect of the hobby, there's always an idea floating in the back of my head. What if you took this package, which is attractive and relatively useful and utilitarian and stuff like that, and you condensed it a little bit instead of having it all, you know, modular and just mechanically fastened and stuff like that? What if you took it a step further and physically integrated these three shells together? You'd be able to eliminate the mechanical connection here and having to leave the gap here so you can attach it and remove it and stuff like that. So I happen to have a Raven that I wasn't using, that wasn't already spoken for, and so I recently started this, which, you know, basically is a rough cut bonded as close as possible to the long strike barrel, and it's just, you know, I cut off basically the top screw almost here in order to get it just as close as I could, and I might be able to go a little further, but I'm pretty content with the way it looks and the way everything fits together, and went ahead and pulled it back as far as I could as well, to where I'd originally planned on doing a second set of flywheels in here, so I tried to leave a little bit of room to where the internals and the catch and the trigger setup isn't going to run into the flywheels, but I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with that plan or not. Either way, everything is pretty much fitted and established, and I like the overall shape of it. I like how the trigger well of the rough cut blends really nicely into this little bump on the Raven, so you get kind of a nice consistent line here that I'll be able to play off of when I start really integrating things together for keeps. Everything else looks good. Of course, the rail fits along pretty well. I'm gonna have to build a filler of some kind, I think, here to make that not look like what it is. This little piece here I added to kind of help blend in this sharp edge where the rough cut, you know, cuts off and turns into the rest of the Raven shell. I tried using this. I might have to just scratch build something to kind of fill this hole and kind of blend this whole trigger area back of rough cut, because it's rather squared off. So this is kind of a test piece right now to see kind of how that looks, and it's probably going to change a little bit. I also, while I was at it, I've never really liked the shape of the Raven stock. It just seems very squared off and unfinished, and so I took a rapid strike and I'm still doing some final fitting here. It's not fitting quite as well as I'd want to, but it does give it a little more attitude and personality, you might say, to the back of the blaster. But, you know, trying to imagine when this is finished and this line is nice and consistent and, you know, follows down here and rounds to the bottom of that, and that'll all be tied in and should look nice and tidy when it's all done. But still quite a bit of work left to go here, but I figured I would get you guys all caught up since this is going to be a consistent project as with everything else. So that's kind of how we're looking so far.